Okay, so there seems to be a lot of ways to repair ABS, and this is for my Apache road cover. So what I use is a soldering iron. I got it at Harbor Freight. What I do is, this is a crack that I had. What I do is I basically poke holes into where the crack is. I'm trying to do this while I do this, but hold on. So I take this and I push it in to the crack. So it's basically putting a hole where the crack was with a soldering iron. Okay, and then from there, what I do is I flatten it all back out and melt it back into each other, so that now it's kind of all back melted in to where those holes are, and to reseal it up. I do not know if this is a good way, the right way, or a different way, or the wrong way. Please let me know. But this is how it works so far. For me, it seems to be working pretty good, because it's basically re-melting the plastic back into those stress cracks. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some ABS sheets after this, and I'm going to, I'll show you that part of the video, melt it with the MEK back onto these spots for reinforcement, so that not only did I melt it back together, so I resealed where the cracks were, but I'm also reinforcing it. Obviously, this is where some of the stress is on these plastics, and this is what I've been doing to pretty much all of the plastic that I have on my Apache right now. So I'll show you the last part here. So I just, you know, look, it's not pretty, but it works. It seems to work. And you want to make sure those holes are all covered back up. You can also get some graft ABS from a sheet of the plastic that you use for the patches, and kind of graft that in as well if there's a chip. But this was a nice crack, but it wasn't chipped, so I didn't need to graft any plastic to melt it back in and graft pieces. But so this is it. I'm gonna go back. I'll give you a picture, hold on. So here it is. Now those cracks, I have another one here. Oh no, that's just string. So I don't know if I'm getting cancer or whatever, but listen, I'm outside. But anyway, this is how I do it with this part, and I'll come back for a part 2 on how to reinforce it. Hope that helps anybody trying to figure out how to repair plastic. All right, be back in a second. Okay, so here's how I mold this plastic. So this is ABS. I bought it on Amazon. They're just sheets of ABS. I don't remember if they're 1/16 or an 1/8 inch thick. I don't know. Probably an 1/8. So what I do is I cut out a piece that'll match this, and I put it in here. And what you can also do is you can mold it. So what I found the easiest to mold is you can use a heat gun, but I'm lazy, so I use a torch. And the easiest thing is to just basically, there's a fine line, so you don't want it to catch on fire, but you basically take your gun, it'll start melting, or your torch, the plastic will start melting because it's turning brown. You'll see it starts turning brown and becomes very pliable. Okay, then you have a few seconds after that to bend it and form it the way you want. Now you can be an idiot like me and burn your hands, or you can actually use gloves, but again, I'm not the sharpest tool. So anyway, so then you push this down. Ow. It gets really hot, but whatever. So you push this down in there, and then you can basically weld it, make the bend to your welding, to your liking on that weld piece. But I actually don't want to do that because I want to, I don't know, maybe I will. No, I cut it too short, so. Anyway, pre-measure, or remember that you have to put that bend in actually, so I'm coming back. All right, because I'm lazy and I don't have a tape measure, I have to do this twice, maybe 3 times, who knows. So you take this torch, it'll start becoming pliable, and maybe you can do it this way too. But again, I like doing things the hard way. Obviously don't want to be melting the other plastic either, so there's a fine line. You'll see it, you'll feel it. You'll feel it. And actually once you get the bend, you can take it off kind of where you see it. And then just reheat it up and bend it where that bend is. See, just like that. I mean, it's all pliable. You'll see. You'll get the feel for it. So anyway, that's there. And then you can get really fancy and make the cuts there for the ridges if you want. But you're kind of getting the idea of what I'm doing here. So I'll come back in a second once I mold it. All right, we're back. So I was playing around with this piece of molded plastic. Again, it's not going to be, you know, Barrett Jackson worthy, but anyway, here's another lazy way, but it seems to work to give me better coverage. I just pour the mech on rather than using a paintbrush, especially these bigger pieces, because it seems like they don't hold as well. And you got to do it quick. So I put this in, use the MEK, pop it in there. And then get myself clamps. I'll be right back. All right, so now I clamped it in. And if you don't like the way see the corner's raised up a little bit on me, so I'm just gonna do the same thing. Again, be careful because you got plastic underneath that you don't want to melt, so it's a fine line, but you can do this real quick. Push it down, and the mech actually will heat up with it and make it pretty tacky fairly quickly, like within 3 seconds. So anyway, that's the end of the video. Nice and sealed there. And hope that helps.